Well, you can probably guess what happened next. Meg and Mr. Boker married, and I finally accepted it and was happy for her. I miss them, but they live nearby in a dear little cottage with no servants at all. Well, we've had other news. Aunt Marge took a liking to Amy while she stayed with her during Beth's brush with scarlet fever, and decided to take her to France and finish her. I stay home with my Beth, who's weak now. The doctor says her heart will never be the same, but still good and loving as ever. Boy's been more attentive lately, and I fear he's getting ideas that he shouldn't. I'm afraid I'm not cut out for this life at home. I don't feel right. I'm afraid I'll break away, do something desperate. Someone doesn't come and help me.
Here, my dear. What is the matter?
Yeah. I want to stay here and help my Beth. I feel restless and unhappy. I wish I were good like Beth, content like Meg.
Joe, not everyone is cut out for life at home. Your writing is suffering. Remember when you got those stories published? I know you can do more. Only you put your mind to it.
I know, Hannah. I just don't seem to have the heart for it.
Let's talk to your mother. Yesterday, she received a letter from her friend Mrs. Kirk in New York, looking for a respectable young person to teach her children to sew. I think it would suit you. You'd be in a different place, and you'd have time off your work to write.
I think you're right, Hannah. I would see, hear new things, get new ideas, and even if I shouldn't have too much time off, I would come with a lot of material for my writing. And so it was settled. I moved to Mrs. Kirk's boarding house in New York City.
John, dear, it's a letter from Joe. My dearest Meg, I've got lots to tell. There's all sorts of interesting people here. For instance,
Today I saw something I liked. The flights are very long here in this tall house, and as I stood at the head of the third one, waiting for a small servant girl to climb up, I saw an odd-looking man come up behind her, take her heavy load of coal, and say,
"It goes better so. The little back is too young to have such heaviness."
Thank you, sir.
Wasn't that kind of him? Mrs. Kirk says his name is Professor Bear, and he's always doing kind things like that. He's from Berlin, very learned, but poor as a church mouse. Well, I must go. I hear the children calling.
Dear Marmee, the funniest thing happened today. When I got back to the nursery, there was such an uproar. There's Professor Bear, down on his hands and knees, with little Tina on his back, and Kitty leading him with the jump rope. And they were playing circus.
Go, horsey! No, he's an elephant. Horsey, elephant, horsey, elephant. It's my turn! No, it's not. Isn't, but I love playing circus. Me too. It's much more fun now that Professor and Miss March are there.
So charming. Oh, I have other news. The professor and I have become friends. He's even agreed to read my new manuscript before sending it off to a publisher he knows. Well, goodbye for now.
Joe, I have read your story.
What did you think?
So sensational, Joe. Killings and a lunatic and villains. Why not write about what you know? Write about that lovely family you always talk about.
No one would want to read that. Papers back home, I want loud, dramatic stories.
Well, maybe your writing is not for a paper. Maybe it is a book.
Do you really think so?
I think the book is in you, my dear.
Well, perhaps when I go home, I'll take notes to write about.
Going home. Ah, you are happy you have a home to go in.
Well, if you ever come back Concord, you must come see us. I want my family to know my new friend.
Do you? Shall I come?
Yes, my friend. Please do.